Adding and subtracting fractions. This video has two examples. So firstly, we're asked to subtract these two fractions. To add or subtract fractions, you do need a common denominator. Preferably, you'd use the lowest common denominator. The first fraction has a denominator of x multiplied by x plus 4y, and the second one has a denominator of 2x. The lowest common denominator of these would be x by x plus 4y by 2. There's no need to repeat the x again. So this is our common denominator we want. The first fraction, how would we give it this denominator? Well, we'd need to multiply the denominator by 2. So we'd multiply the numerator by 2 as well. Multiplying a fraction by 2 over 2, which is effectively 1, is a fair thing to do. It just expresses the fraction differently rather than changing it. The second fraction, we'd need to multiply it by x plus 4y to give it the same common denominator. So we multiply above and below by x plus 4y. Now we can express the fractions with the same common denominator of 2x times x plus 4y. So on the left hand side of this, we have 2 times 6y, which is 12y. Then we have negative 3 times x, which is negative 3x, and negative 3 times 4y, which is negative 12y. Be careful with the sign there. So we have 12y take 12y, so that adds up to 0. So we're left with negative 3x all over our common denominator. Now you'll notice that this will simplify further because x is common in the numerator and the denominator. So we could divide above and below by x, or x divided by x is 1. So we're left with negative 3 all over 2 times x plus 4y. And there's no need to multiply out the denominator. We can leave it in a factorized form. That's our solution. Let's look at the second question then. So again, we're subtracting two fractions. Look a little bit more complex, but we can still work away. We might have an option to simplify the first fraction first. It looks like it might simplify a little bit, and the second one looks like it doesn't have a common denominator. But let's factorize both of these first to have a better idea of what we're looking at. So underneath we have a quadratic. We're thinking of the factors of negative 2 that add to be negative 1. So that would be negative 2 and plus 1. And the denominator in the second fraction is the difference of two squares. So that would be x minus 2 by x plus 2. So again, we're looking to see what's the lowest common denominator. So we'd have to use x minus 2, x plus 1, and x plus 2. And we'd have all the factors of the denominators included then. So we'd have to multiply the first fraction by x plus 2. That's the bit that it doesn't have to achieve this lowest common denominator. So I'll multiply x plus 2 above and below. Again, we're multiplying it by 1 here by doing that. And the second fraction, we'd have to multiply that by x plus 1 to give it the same common denominator. So both denominators have the same 3 factors in them. So multiply above and below by x plus 1. So we'll bring the two fractions together under the same common denominator now. Then we'll have to multiply out x minus 4 times x minus 2. Be careful with the sign here because we're taking away the total when we multiply x minus 3 by x plus 1. So I'm just going to tidy up the numerator here, adding like terms. Then we're going to subtract what's in the brackets, so we're going to change the signs of what we're taking away. We notice there's some cancellations. And we're left with just negative 5 as the numerator. The denominator hasn't changed and there's no need to multiply it out. We can leave it like that. That's your answer.